Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do this morning is to go through another book, and the book that I've got here for today is entitled A Little History of Religion, a book that was published back in 2016 on the 27th of September by an author named Richard Holloway. Richard Holloway's A Little History of Religion is a beautifully condensed yet profound exploration of humanity's spiritual journey. It's not merely a history of belief systems, but a deeply empathetic reflection on why we believe, how our beliefs shape us, and what happens when they no longer serve us. Holloway's voice is both scholarly and compassionate as he walks us through the evolution of religion, its highs, its lows, and its complexities. So the first key message to come from this book is where the author takes us on a guided tour and says that religion began as a way to make sense of the world around us. Holloway reminds us that early religions were humanity's first attempts to explain the mysteries of existence, life, death, the cosmos, and morality. Before science, religion provided answers to all of those unanswered questions, to all the unanswerable. This origin story invites us to see religion not as a relic of the past, but as an essential step in humanity's intellectual and emotional evolution. The next point to come from this book is where we look at faith and fear and see how they are inexplicably intertwined. One of the book's central themes is that religion often arises from fear. Fear of death, fear of the unknown, or fear of the chaos that we have around us in our lives. Holloway highlights how the promise of order, comfort, and eternal life has been both a strength and a vulnerability of religious systems throughout the ages. It's a reminder to examine these aspects of our beliefs that are rooted in fear versus understanding. We move on to talk about how religions reflect the cultures that create them. Holloway emphasizes that religions are shaped by the environments, politics, and values of the societies that produce them. This insight helps us understand why religions differ so much across the globe and why religious practices often evolve as cultural change. Religious leaders are often both visionaries and flawed individuals, from the Buddha to Muhammad to Martin Luther. Holloway presents religious leaders as extraordinary individuals who brought new ideas into the world, yet he doesn't shy away from their human imperfections. This duality makes their accomplishments all the more remarkable and reminds us that great ideas can emerge from even the most flawed vessels. Religion is both a source of unity and a source of division. One of the book's most poignant lessons is that religion has the power to bring people together under a shared sense of purpose and identity. However, Holloway doesn't gloss over its darker side. The wars, the persecutions, and divisions that have been justified in the name of faith. This duality prompts readers to reflect on how belief systems can be wielded for both good and harm. We examine doubt, and the author suggests that doubt is an essential part of faith. Holloway treats doubt not as the enemy of faith, but as a necessary companion, as a necessary partner. He shows us how many religious thinkers, from Augustine to Kierkegaard, grappled with uncertainty. This perspective is a refreshing reminder that questioning our beliefs is not a sign of weakness, but of intellectual and spiritual engagement. And another point that the author makes is that the decline of religion doesn't mean the end of meaning. As Holloway explores the modern decline of organised religion, he advises that the fear that the world without belief will be bleak and meaningless. Instead, he argues that humans will continue to seek meaning through art, philosophy, science, and community. Religion may change or fade, but the search for purpose will continue to endure. Sacred texts are examined and are living documents. Holloway's treatment of sacred texts, from the Bible to the Quran to the Bhagavad Gita, emphasizes their adaptability. He shows how these texts have been reinterpreted across generations to suit new contexts, providing and proving that they are not static relics, but living, breathing guides that evolve alongside humanity. The other thing that the author says, which is really important, is that religions share more commonalities than differences. Despite their surface level differences, Holloway reveals how most religions grapple with the same fundamental questions. Why are we here? What happens after we die? How should we treat each other? The realization fosters a sense of unity and mutual respect, even amongst different faiths. And the last key point to come from this author is that religion is ultimately about being human. At its heart, Holloway argues religion is less about gods and doctrines and more about humanity's need for connection, hope, and transcendence. Whether or not one believes in a higher power, the stories and rituals of religion reflect universal human desires to belong, to make sense of suffering, and to leave a legacy. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, and I look forward to coming to you from another place and with another message of empowerment. Take care and bye for now.